All right, today we're going to talk about farming, but probably not in the way you're imagining. We're going to dive into how data and technology are being used to grow the perfect rock melon, turning what was once an art of guesswork into a real science of precision.
And this quote right here, it just nails the core problem. For generations, farming has been this high-stakes game of intuition and, well, hoping for the best. But what happens when you can finally replace that guesswork with actual certainty?
You know, when you picture a melon farm, it probably looks pretty calm, pretty serene. But for the farmer, every single day is just filled with a constant stream of critical, unanswered questions. And their entire livelihood, it depends on getting the answers right.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Is the soil too wet? Is it too dry? Even a small miscalculation here can have a massive, massive impact on the final fruit. Or how about the temperature? A few degrees too high, maybe for just a few hours, could be stressing the plants in ways you won't even see until it's way, way too late. And then, of course, you've got pests. By the time you can actually spot them with your own eyes, the damage might already be done, and a whole harvest could be at risk. And look, all of this uncertainty has very real consequences. We're talking about melons that just aren't as sweet, smaller harvests, and a huge amount of wasted resources, water, fertilizer, which, of course, drives up costs for everyone.
Okay, so this is where the story takes a really cool turn. What if we could give the farmer a way to see everything, everywhere on the farm, all at once? Well, the solution, as it turns out, is data. And that's the whole idea behind what we call smart agriculture. It's about using a whole network of tiny sensors and cameras. You've probably heard of the Internet of Things, or IoT, that basically act as the farm's eyes and ears, feeding a constant stream of information back to one central place. But, just collecting a ton of data is only the first step. To really make sense of it all, we can use this framework called the ladder of insight. Think of it as a way to turn all those raw numbers into actual wisdom. So let's take a look at the rungs on this ladder. We're going to climb them one by one, starting with figuring out the problem, then collecting the data, and going all the way up to getting specific, automated recommendations. And you might be surprised, but the journey starts on the ground, before you even plug in a single sensor. This is rung 0, intent. You have to start by asking the right questions. What are we actually trying to do here? What's the goal?
For our melon farm, the goals were super clear. Things like keeping the soil moisture just right, making sure the plants get the right nutrients, and catching the earliest signs of stress. Ultimately, it's all about improving the quality of the melon while using fewer resources to do it.
All right, with our goals locked in, we can start climbing to the first rung, building the data foundation. This is where we actually put the hardware in the ground, the soil sensors, the temperature probes, the cameras, to start capturing the reality of the farm in real time. Now we're on the second rung, and this is where we start getting answers to a really simple but incredibly powerful question. What is happening on the farm right now? All that raw data gets turned into something a person can actually understand at a glance. And just like that, the farmer is no longer flying blind. They can pull up a dashboard on their phone and see live soil moisture levels across different fields, check the temperature trends, and even look at a live video feed. It's a total game changer.
Okay, so knowing what is happening is great. But the real magic starts to happen on rung 3, when the system moves beyond what to help us understand why. This is the diagnostic layer, where it starts connecting the dots between different pieces of data to find the root cause of a problem.
So here's how it works in practice. The system might notice that a drop in soil moisture isn't random. It's happening at the same time the pump data shows a malfunction. Or it could connect a really subtle change in leaf color from a camera with humidity data to flag a potential disease, days before a human would ever spot it. Next up, rung 4, prediction. This is where things go from being reactive to truly proactive. Using all the historical data it's collected, the system can start to forecast the future. It can predict that, hey, based on current trends, this specific plot is likely to get too dry in the next 3 hours.
And that brings us to the very top of the ladder, rung 5, prescription. Here, the system doesn't just warn you about a problem that might happen, it tells you exactly what to do about it. It prescribes the solution, acting like an expert co-pilot.
So what does this actually look like for the farmer? Well, they get a simple alert on their phone that says something like, Warning, soil moisture in plot B is dropping. Recommended action, turn on irrigation for 15 minutes. It's no longer about staring at charts. It's about taking clear, guided action.
So where does this all lead? Well, by climbing this ladder of insight, from just defining a problem all the way to prescribing a solution, the entire nature of farming gets transformed. You can really see the massive shift here. Farming moves from being reactive, waiting for things to go wrong, to being proactive. It goes from high waste to having its resources totally optimized. And for us, that means a shift from inconsistent quality to reliably delicious fruit every single time. And for the farmer, it means a much more stable and predictable business.
It's a really powerful transformation that starts with a simple melon, but points to a much bigger idea. It kind of makes you wonder, right? If this level of insight can perfect a piece of fruit, what other complex, real-world problems are just out there waiting to be solved with data?